Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, colleagues and friends. Here's Valentin speaking from Czech Technical University. And it is an honor to me to present few information about the newly started European project Recomatic, which I am coordinating. And we agreed with the organizers of this webinar that it probably is a good idea to introduce in few words what we are intending to do in this project, since it is a quite large and important project in terms of impact we hope to have in the near future. And at the same time, this project is bringing together many partners from three regions of the world, from the European Union, from the United Kingdom, and finally from China, where we have good collaboration with the Chinese Association of Circular Economy and the technological partner company A3, which will jointly help us to fulfill the targets and missions of Recomatic. The reason why we defined and applied for Recomatic is following the requests and the needs which European Commission has identified in the last years and are related to the new European Green Deal as a main policy and strategy for the next few decades, where we are facing some challenging actions like reaching, hopefully, zero energy, low carbon industry, and finally some challenging waste targets, becoming a non-waste society within the next 30 years. Civil engineering in this respect and the construction industry in general is quite important in reaching these targets, especially if we are speaking about waste generation and reuse or landfilling of this waste, since on one hand the activities we are covering in construction sector are consuming a lot of energies and a lot of natural non-renewable materials, and on other hand, since the buildings and the structures we are constructing are not endless and they have some limited lifetime, they of course logically result in some waste streams which then occupy quite large portions of landfills. You can read on the slide that it is depending on the region between 35 and 65% of the whole volume of landfills we have, which are then occupied by construction and demolition waste. So these are the challenges, or being more precise, that's one of the challenge we have not only in Europe but in the whole world. The other challenge we are facing today is the transition from the industry and the life as we know it and as we have lived in for the last decades to a more digital and hopefully more smart and efficient society. And combining these two transitions, so on one hand the digital one and on the other hand the transition related to green technologies and green society, is exactly the mission we are trying to follow and to develop within the Recomatic project which brings together the principles of circular economy and more efficient construction demolition waste management, following the really needed focus on the whole life cycle of structures and buildings. That's the main figure or picture which we set in our proposal, which shall explain what we are doing in terms of the vision and objectives we are following in Reconmatic. I think, or I hope, that most of you will agree that the waste problem on one hand and the potential of reusing, recycling, or even avoiding waste is applicable to all stages of the life of a building, starting with the planning and designing of a structure where the stakeholders like investors or designers can reduce or increase the portion of waste just by making the decisions, the right decisions about what has to be planned, what kind of materials has to use, and how we are going then to build the structure. Then, of course, we are having the stage of building the construction, either a typical house or some road, railway, etc. And already in this process, if the process is not optimized, we are usually generating some waste streams and materials which are then not used or even are landfilled. Similarly, very important part, in my opinion, maybe even the most important part, is the long stage of operation of the buildings and infrastructure projects, where we are often rehabilitating, maintaining, repurposing the structures. And here again, the investors, clients, and other stakeholders can influence if waste is limited or if we have some excessive volume of construction, especially demolition waste, we are creating. Sooner or later, each structure is then reaching some end of life, and that's a special part of the life cycle where we are dealing with demolition and with the question how to efficiently work with the materials. We can simply landfill or recycle the material. We can even incinerate some of the materials. But what we are looking for, and what is the mission of Reconmatic, is to seek for new solutions and new technologies, even in combination with some automation processes and robotics, to sort better and to treat better the waste materials, so you can finally valorize the material, the waste material, and you can create a new circle with a higher and better economic and technical added value of the material which was once used in the building, and can again go in a new cycle and in a new life for next structure, building, or infrastructure. This is also the reason where we think we can effectively integrate different parts of the digital solutions or automation solutions we have now existing on the market, starting with building information modeling, where just let's say defining and incorporating better data and information we have about a building can help from the stage of designing until the stage of operation, to understand what kind of materials, what kind of properties of the materials we have, and how we have to deal with these materials or construction products through the whole life cycle. Similarly, if you are speaking about artificial intelligence or blockchain, Internet of Things, etc., these are parts of the automation or digital solutions which can be transferred to some new applications, which simply can help to optimize or reduce the waste at the end, which is going to landfills. Just as an example, with artificial intelligence, we train, especially in machine learning solutions, the equipment. We can probably better sort the mixed construction or demolition waste, so that we are getting material streams which are less contaminated. And then, of course, if you have a less contaminated material, you can create much better new technical solutions how this material can be produced. For blockchain or Internet of Things, as an other example, if we use these techniques, we can probably, during construction or during operation of buildings, create solutions where, just by better organization and better understanding of different stakeholders, how information are shared and how demands and requests are defined, we can avoid that excessive amount of waste is created. That's one of the examples we will definitely develop within Recon-Matic as one part of our strategy. And the robotics is related mainly to the solutions where we are looking for faster, maybe more precise, and avoiding the need of manual work if the waste material has to be sorted. Of course, still for many regions right now, this might be a more expensive solution, but I am sure that in the future, in the near future even, it will be a preferred solution, because if you're going to many of the recycling yards or companies which are dealing with recycling, and you are seeing in what environment the manual workers have to work, then a solution with a robot which does not care if there is some dust and other harmful environments, will deal with the material in the same way, or even maybe in a more effective way than a manual worker. So that's the idea behind why robotics might be one of the solutions as well. I already mentioned that we are following 6 different missions. We define the missions in a way what we can do with the waste. We can avoid the waste. That's especially when we are planning our buildings, or when we are starting constructing the buildings, simply by doing the plannings or the designs a bit different, understanding, for example, life cycle assessments and integrating life cycle assessments of materials into a regular decision processes shall help the designers and the investors to get the right choices and to avoid that excessive waste is just created because of unoptimized designing of the building. Then we have the minimization of waste, which is often related to the process of construction, where we can either seek for techniques or technologies and even the processing of these technologies that, for example, when you're constructing gypsum board partition walls, you are planning it before starting the placement of these boards to avoid that instead of having 30% waste by cutting the boards, you will reach maybe only 10 or even 0% of such waste. A different point of view is to increase the portion of recycled products. There is still the unanswered question why we could not use more secondary materials or byproducts in fresh concrete to save the non-renewable materials and let's say hit two flies with one hit, and on one side reduce the amount of unused recycled products, and on the other hand save our natural resources. Another point of view is, and I'm sure many of you know about this problem, how we are planning the structures and what is the lifetime of the structures. If we are able by understanding better the materials and the properties and the performances of the materials, if we are better understanding this, we can probably reach more durable solutions. And if you're having a more durable solution, then of course the momentum when you need to demolish or deconstruct your building because reaching the end of life will be later than in the traditional way. And that's exactly how you can quite simply minimize the waste. Reducing the waste is very similar. If we especially during operation of the building, if we have things like digital twins of the buildings, we can better understand if we have some refurbishments or repurposings of our buildings. We can much better plan in advance how to do this to reduce the waste, which is then occurring by these activities. Sorting, treating, and pre-sorting is a huge area and a very important mission we are going to follow because there is still a question and a need for answering this question. If it is better, for example, during a demolition of a building to do the pre-sorting on site, or if there are any limitations and we have to think in terms of logistics and solutions to do the sorting on some recycling yards, some centers where we will then treat and sort the materials to get the particular streams of materials like ceramics, glass, plastics, wood, etc., so that later on in the last mission we are able to better valorize these waste streams, meaning that we are not simply just looking on downcycling, which we are able to do always, similarly to the incineration of many of the waste streams, but we are more focusing on getting some efficient solutions of reuse and recycling, so that the added value of the waste material is higher than just what I have been mentioning with downcycling. The target in this respect is very simple of Reconomatic to have procedures, methodologies, and demonstrate some of the solutions which will lead to minimization of the construction demolition waste streams. And on the other hand, to have a clear line which will guide us to solutions which will provide to us new products or products of materials and parts of the structures and buildings which will have a higher value, without the fear that there will be some limited quality issues, or there would be some reduced bearing capacity of these materials. In this respect, what we definitely are looking for is the way how we can better get or provide a traceability of data which are related to the waste streams which we have on a building or a structure. Then, of course, which is very important, is to integrate really as an integral part of each structural material or construction product, the sustainability aspects and the LCAs, so that we are not only understanding as civil engineers the structures in terms of technical parameters, but we are starting much more to reflect also the environmental sustainability. This all will work only if we are able to get some better and more effective collaboration of different stakeholders. And it is still believed, and it's not only the belief of a Reconomatic team, that building information management or modeling is one of the strong solutions how we can reach this. The Reconomatic is organized in, let's say, seven different tasks. I try to simplify it a little bit with this slide. We have, let's say, two horizontal tasks or work packages, which will on one hand support the communication dissemination, including some education of the new solutions we are going to develop, and on the other hand the task which is or work pitch which is covered by understanding the whole value chain of construction demolition waste, where we are looking for delivering a digital information management system which will merge all these stakeholders together, will support the collaboration, and will provide waste data from the very beginning until the stage of the valorization of waste materials and waste streams. And then we are following, as already has been presented in the previous picture with the circle and with the stages of life cycle of a building. We are focused on the particular stages, and bring together design and construction, where we are looking for some material mapping and a prediction of waste being integrated in the regular BIM tools and BIM solutions we already have, and at the same time the blockchain tracing tool, which we will start maybe with concrete, since concrete is one of the most important materials. So we believe it makes sense to have some solution and some demonstration for this type of material. Similarly important is the end of life, where what is missed right now are the digital twins of the existing buildings, because if we would have them and if we would know how to get them quickly and efficiently, we can during operation, and especially at this stage when we are planning our demolitions, we would be able to do these decisions more effectively. Then I already mentioned the sortings and logistics. Here we are going to use AI-based solutions for automating better the waste sorting processes. And as I mentioned, this is the area where we believe that integration of robotics makes a huge sense. Finally, new materials which can be derived from construction and demolition waste is the last work package, the vertical work package, where we have defined some of the material or waste streams where we will focus on. We will deal with some quality assurance and quality control mechanisms, how we can digitalize this, including the digitalization of some pre-demolition audits, etc. And finally, how to guide the European Union in overcoming the existing market barriers. This is just for your information. What are the partners involved in the whole project? You can see that in total we have 23 partners. In Europe, we are planning to have 6 demonstration cases, so a real demonstration of the new solutions. That's what was even asked by the European Commission. You can see the countries which are involved, so the coordination being in the heart of Europe, and then we are more or less covering different parts of Europe with UK, with Spain, Italy, Greece, and Cyprus. And as area which is on the other side of a globe, where you are now listening to my presentation, is the Public Republic of China, which is the last region involved in this project. The outcomes and impacts we hope to reach. The first outcome is to simply get and introduce new knowledge in reusing, dismantling, and a better valorization of construction demolition waste. We have set some KPI with increasing by 50% the reusability of construction products by the solutions we will deliver. There should be also some advice and recommendation to the European Commission on new or updated standards which will be needed, especially if you are then combining, let's say, the technical aspects and the aspects of environmental sustainability. This will simply lead to the need for new or advanced standards, and we will create even some education tools and materials. There will be some training for different stakeholders and systems, or let's say activities like train your trainers, so that we are not only delivering the solutions and the new innovations, but we are also preparing how these solutions can be effectively used by the industry and by the society. And the impact is, let's say, quite simple. We would like to contribute to the need for reducing energy needs and CO2 emissions, support the overall target of carbon neutrality and becoming nearly zero-waste society. We would like to reach construction materials which are sustainable because of valorizing the waste materials which are less contaminated, and these materials shall be even resilient and more durable, so that this whole makes sense. This shall also create new potentials in jobs for the future, since the whole, let's say, area of digitalization is a challenge for creating completely new jobs, which will require, of course, a different kind of skilled workers. Therefore, as I mentioned in the outcomes, we need to create also some educative materials and seminars or trainings to simply educate and support these new skills which are needed. And it shall, of course, help to accelerate a little bit the transitions we have in the digital and green area, because construction sector in general is quite conservative and maybe is a bit behind the other industries like automotive, like chemical industry, etc. So that's where the impact of Recon-Matic is seen, and what we are looking to deliver to the society. This is just to mention that Recon-Matic is funded by the European Union and the United Kingdom, the Research and Innovation Ministry, and we hope that very soon we will be able to include also the Chinese government, which will support you in the Chinese Association of Circular Economy and in ITRI to help us to reach these challenges. If you have any questions, not only today, but also later, there are some of the main contacts, and you can contact us, and we hope that we will have some good discussions and collaborations in the near future. So thank you very much, and I wish you good luck with your webinar or seminar you have today. Greetings from Prague. Thank you.